Red light. Good evening. Welcome to Gator's Garage, the home of all things historical gaming in and around the great city of Savannah, Georgia. I'm Mike Baker, the Gator, and I have with us our good friend Randy Yon. Say hi to the folks, Randy.
Good evening, everybody.
And this particular series of episodes is known as the Mike and Randy Show because Mike and Randy get together about once a week and we review something about bolt action. We may one day break into some black powder too, but right now we're still learning bolt action. So here we go. If y'all have been tracking us, you know that we had we put a challenge out there. We asked people to select what two armies we should play against each other, and we got I think one, maybe two votes, maybe only one. Y'all gotta do better now. Germans versus British. So that's what we're gonna be showing. But before we get too far in, if you like what we're doing, click like and subscribe. Share this with your friends so they can see how crazy some of your gamer buddies are. And if you want to support the channel, there's ways to buy some merch from Gator Games and Books, or buy us a coffee at Ko-Fi or Patreon. Links will be all in the description below. But thanks for your time and attention. So we're going to start off looking at Randy's army, and he actually took a picture of his pretty painted troops. And I got to say, I didn't do that. Mine, you're going to get a good looking army list from me, but have to wait to see the troops till Saturday. So here you go, Randy. Tell us a little bit about this good looking force here.
Yep. So what I did is I wanted to go with a completely themed army, and so I brought British paratroopers, and everything that I brought is they'll have weapons that they could have dropped out of the sky with, or any of the vehicles could have been brought in on a glider. So everything could have been parachuted in. So it's a completely mobile army. Everything's light. You won't see any tanks. There's no artillery or nothing like that.
Well, no onboard artillery. So what's that
Yeah,
big gun
yeah.
there?
So they do have a couple of guys with radios. I have actually two forward artillery observers, so that
And
will
that's what
cause
that big
no
gun
intermission.
represents, is the offboard artillery.
Yeah,
Little intimidation there, just for the folks
yeah,
that haven't been following your bolt action career. So yeah, the gun sits on the side of the table and just scares the heck out of everybody. And
yeah.
I can attest, it's quite
So,
effective.
so
So
that's
with
actually
that in mind,
a
go ahead.
255 millimeter coastal battery gun. So that's actually probably what they would have called firing from inland.
Yeah, if it was during the drop, yeah, they would destroy your guns. And I won't look up the caliber, but I know destroyers, cruisers, all provided indirect support until the actual artillery could get set up. So yeah,
Yeah.
lots of fun there for the Germans. I think I'm just going to work on my duck and cover rolls. Let's see here. Let's add this list. All
Yep.
right. Can you see that all right?
Yep. I can see it good.
Okay, so we're starting off with, of course, the first platoon, which is always a core of a rifle platoon. So tell us about
Yep.
your army, guy.
All right. So we got the inexperienced lieutenant here, trying to save as many points. And then I've got three squads of paratroopers. They're all stubborn, and the first two squads have all rifles, and then the third squad here has all submachine guns. Yeah, so nice little fire team there.
Wonder who's going to be doing the close assault.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they might be.
Okay.
So I got a company commander because they're just too good. +4 bonus to everything on the board. Snap
Yeah.
twos. And then the first of my two forward artillery observers. And then I have Mike's favorite team here, the anti-tank rifle team.
Just deadly against armored
Yeah,
cars.
they're just all
Ask
around
me how
good.
I know.
Even just pinning tanks. Even if you just need to put a pin on a tank, you just boom, shoot it.
Yeah, I took an anti-tank rifle in my list as well, and for the same reason that I figured if you had armor, that I could
Mm-hmm.
at least put pins on it. You
Yep.
know, and Lord help you if you shoot somebody with the thing, it's like instant dead, pink mist. So yeah,
So two light mortars. I'm bringing them both regular so that I can use the forward observer to spot for them.
right. And like we were discussing earlier, so the key element here, folks, is you cannot in an artillery platoon take light mortars and buy a spotter, but the light mortar can use a spotter that's already been purchased. And in this case, I guess Randy, they're going to use the actual forward observer also as a spotter for the light mortars. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
that's correct.
Okay, good. Um, and what we're doing here too, folks, is really a good idea for you to do with your buddies or at a tournament. And that's just kind of flip through your list, make sure you understand any special rules that may be in play from something somebody has in. It cuts down on discussions later in the game and lets it flow a little bit smoother.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
so what are we looking at here?
Second platoon is a recce platoon. I've talked a little bit about the benefits of that, and I'm going to use that here. So I got the inexperienced lieutenant, and then another paratroop squad, 7-man, but this one has a light machine gun in it. Give them a
Okay,
little bit of extra firepower. And then the second of my forward artillery observers. And the British get to call in 2 strikes per artillery observer. So I'll have 4 artillery barrages coming in.
I guess what you basically you've got four fire missions. Excuse me, 4 fire missions you can call in. Now that's
Yeah.
2 per spotter. So if I pick off one of the spotters before he can call in fire, then you only get the remaining 2, right?
So each one is only gets to call in. So if you kill one of them, he doesn't get to call in the second one. The other one doesn't get to call the unused barrage. So it has to be
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I
So I
know
got
what that.
another anti-tank team. This is a Piat. Give me a
Right.
little bit more punch for armor.
Yeah.
And then recce rule here. So I added 3 vehicles with recce.
Right.
I got a scout M3 scout car with a
Okay.
heavy machine gun. Then I've got just a plain Jeep,
Sweet.
which my Piat team will probably be riding in.
Right.
Yeah. And then a Bren carrier, which I'll probably be putting my submachine gun paratroopers in.
Bren carries 6 guys.
5.
5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the submachine gun squad is 5 men.
Right. Okay. Good. Good. All right. Not good for me, but good for you. And it's
Yeah.
got a forward-facing light machine gun, which
Mm-hmm.
the actually. So as long as the submachine gun guys are in the Bren, they can actually fire the LMG out of it.
Yep. And they'll be able to fire it at regular instead of inexperienced. So once they bail out, then I'll be a -1 to shoot with it.
Okay.
And armor platoon. So
Yes.
all my vehicles that I'm bringing, like I say, can be brought in via glider. And I had to do a little research for the Humber
Right.
to see that it would do it. I spoke to a guy, said they British actually brought in some Tetrarch tanks in
Yep.
the glider,
Yeah.
and they were about 6,000 pounds heavier than the Humber. And
Okay.
and I know they did bring them in. So that's my first
So
armored
cool.
vehicle. That's be my command vehicle.
Right.
And then I have the airborne Jeep with the twin MMGs.
Yeah.
So
What's not to hate there? Just saying.
it was great in version 2. Kind of got nerfed a bit in 3, but still 6 shots for
You bet.
fairly cheap, and it's
Yes.
recce. So 2 of my armored vehicles are going to be recce, which will be useful.
Yes.
And then the third one is just a Jeep with a heavy machine gun on it, because I
I
wanted to see
noticed you
how
took
that
these all
works.
as regular. Yeah. You took all these as regular.
Yep, they're all regular.
And yeah. And just to, again, a reminder, we talk about this a lot between us. We talk about it in the forums a lot, but these ranges matter a lot more now because pretty much if you can see it, you can hit it. If you can hit it, you can put pins on it.
Yeah, and
And so
that's why
that's
I upgraded this thing to the heavy machine gun, this little Jeep, because it
right.
gets me out there at 48 inches, so I can kind of stay away from a lot of firepower and still shoot back.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The only thing I might have that can reach it will be my light automatic cannon from my
Mhm.
light automatic cannons from my armored cars that are in my platoon. But
Yeah,
so man, yeah, that looks like again a good mobile force, very light, like you would expect from paratroopers. And again, tip of the hat, man, for building a themed force. Mine's themed as well, and I think you'll enjoy seeing that.
yeah.
So platoon number 5 here.
Heavy weapons. So got another officer here that inexperienced. and then 2 more light mortars. So I'll have a total of 4 light mortars, and they can all draw line of sight from either of my forward observers.
Okay.
Then I have a machine gun team. This is something new. I didn't haven't brought one before because they weren't too good in version 2, but I think it's going to work out pretty good. And then I have another Mike's favorite weapons, the anti-tank rifle team. So I got 2 of those.
And they bumped the range of the ATR up by
Yeah.
12 inches in version
Makes
3,
it
which
so
makes
good.
them even more effective. Just like they pushed the heavy machine gun up to 48 inches, which
Yeah.
is a whole lot more indicative of why you would have both those weapons. And I'll tell you, I've always taken medium machine gun teams. I know a lot of folks in version 2 poo-pooed
Yeah.
them. I always got good use out of them, even when snipers were on the board, because you use your infantry to flush the sniper out and keep your machine gun in play. But I think you're gonna be very happy with the way the machine guns can do, how good they are at area denial. And that's gonna be
Yeah.
awesome. So really good looking list, man. I'm really interested in playing against it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So with that being said, we will now look at my list, which
Let's see
is
the bad guy.
the bad guys. And I apologize for the print being so small. It didn't look that small on the actual PowerPoint that I did. I'll have to keep that in mind. Panzer Grenadier, I'm calling it a Panzer Grenadier Recon Platoon, or maybe a Recon Company, which was how much it's loaded out, but it's a reinforced Recon Platoon. 1,250 point list. See the Grenadiers getting it on there. So
How many dice you got, Mike?
I have not enough, I can tell you that much. I have 25 dice. Is that right?
Really? 25?
You've got 25.
I got
I want to say 15.
okay, I
And I
got
thought that was
24.
pretty good.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
24. So you got 15?
Yeah, that sounds
Wow.
right.
Yeah,
16.
that's
I'm sorry, 16. Got my army
16.
list
Okay.
here. Yeah. But again, a lot of your stuff is lighter, and hopefully
Yeah.
I can pick it off quick enough to pretty rebalance pretty quick, because I've got just a classic German Panzer Grenadier unit here. My first of all, my platoon commander does have an escort, and they're running veteran. I take the opposite philosophy when it comes to commands. I like them to be a little bit more robust. And then my squads, though, they're all regular. One
Yeah.
squad is 7 infantry, and NCO with an assault rifles. The difference between the Heer Grenadiers and the Panzer Grenadiers is the Panzer Grenadiers can take assault rifles and have up to 2 light machine guns. So I never pass up a chance to grab an assault rifle instead of a submachine gun for an NCO.
Okay.
Obviously, my platoon commanders are going to be equipped,
I'm going to
and
say
his
you're going
escort.
to have 3 assault rifles for them.
Oh yeah, yeah. 2 actually,
Oh, you only
and
got
then
2 guys. Okay.
yeah, yeah. And you'll notice I do have a Panzerfaust in the first and second squad,
Okay.
just because I didn't know what you were going to show up with. But the PFs are good against. They're good against
Yeah.
vehicles. They're good against buildings.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
you
Shoot.
know,
Yeah. Somebody jumps in a
right?
building, you shoot that thing at a building. It's
Sure,
going to hurt.
sure, yeah. And I got 1 PF in each squad, so not a lot, but just enough to kind of make your armor think twice and make your guys wonder if they want to go hide in a building or not.
Yeah.
One of my squads, the NCO, only has a rifle. It's just again that whole point balance thing. But everybody's got light machine guns and everybody's got Panzerfaust, so we're going to keep your life interesting.
Lots of
See the
shooty.
guys in the half track? Do what?
Lots of shooty.
That's right. See the guys in the half track? They're coming for you.
Yeah.
Schnell. All right. Here's my support. In the infantry support section of my infantry platoon, I've got a sniper team. So
Yeah.
somebody to go hunting after your all your wonderful spotters and 2-man mortar teams and all that.
He's number 1 on my hit list right now. From what I see, I got to take him out.
I hear you. I also have the ever popular, ever fun anti-tank rifle team.
Yeah. Veteran.
They're veteran. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And then a light mortar team. So a good mix of
Veteran.
immediate support available to the infantry platoon. Everybody
Yeah.
riding in half tracks. So that's going to be pretty nice. Here's the mechanized transport section. 3 Hanemags, each with a light machine gun. Took them
Wow.
as regular because I intend to use them for firepower support.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
For
yeah,
62 points, you can't beat the Hanomag. That is just that's especially the Germans getting 6 shots.
right.
That's or 7. They get 7.
No, what
But
they'll get is 3. They'll get 3 plus 1 for 4
4, yeah. So they'll drop down to 4 unless they're shooting at something in the
in the air.
sky, but
And
nobody's
Lord
got
help anybody
airplanes.
that Lord help anybody that shows up with air
You
against this
can't shoot at my
force.
shells that are dropping on you.
Yeah. So, these 3 half tracks together can put out 12 dice at
Yeah.
36 inches. Um, and if anybody came in with air, I'd put 21 dice in the air at them. So pretty nasty. So that's going to be pretty fun. I've always liked mechanized infantry and armored cav. So I actually assembled the last half track today. I got to throw a coat of paint on him. It's actually one of my resin half tracks. Came in with a busted wheel. Rather than
Oh,
go through the trouble of returning it, I just excuse me, glued the wheel on, and I'm going to throw a quick coat of Panzer Yellow on it tomorrow. It'll at
okay.
least be painted. So there you go.
Now, if you get in the bind, I've got a couple of Hanamags too. So
Okay, didn't think about that, but I might take you up on that.
yeah.
Excuse me, guys. Next slide, of course, is my heavy weapons platoon. You see them there advancing behind the armor. Just these are actually going to be my Fallschirmjäger heavy weapons platoon, repurposed. Regular commander, veteran teams, machine gun team, and a mortar team.
Mm,
Both intended the mortar. I did pay for a spotter for the mortar, so
yeah.
I'll be able to throw that spotter out and drop that mortar wherever I need to. With the medium machine gun team to kind of provide either support for the infantry or backup for the mortar team. Excuse me, just a minute. Gotta love dry weather. The piece de resistance, though. Pardon the French for a German list, but all my friends are coming out to play. I got the Puma armored car with that medium anti-tank gun that can reach out 60 inches. So, and again, that thing's going to be good. It's HE1. It's going to be good for dealing with a variety of targets at 60. Longest range unit on the board. Don't think I didn't notice that. That's going to be helpful.
Yeah.
All of these guys are recce, so they're going to be
Yep.
hard to pin down, which is also good. And they're all, of course, equipped with coax machine guns, which means I can hit you with the main gun or the MG, not both. I've got a heavy armored car, it's a 6 rad. Interestingly enough, I've seen the 231 in both the 6 rad and the 8 rad version, which is really wild. What they call the 8 rad, which was the hull for the Puma 234. But anyway, so this has a turret mounted light auto cannon and a coaxial MMG, and of course that's a HE1 firepower 2, which means I can put 2 of those templates, uh, where I need to. Be great for chewing up some of your squads.
So I
And
see that these are pretty much armed the same.
yep.
Or they are armed the same. What's the difference? Well, one of them's dual directional steering. Okay, that makes sense. Because one of them was 5 more points, so I was wondering why they would have a price increase there. But that dual directional steering allows them to make a whole bunch of reverse moves at full speed.
Yeah, which is both good and bad.
Yeah,
And
don't
well,
foobar.
not only that, the 222, which I've loved the little 222 for forever. I built it as an airfix kit decades ago, and I just always thought it was one of the coolest looking armored cars. Honestly, I think the 6 rad is just ugly. Puma's about right. It's just scary looking little wheeled light tank. But I've always
Yeah.
liked the 222. And the other reason the 222 is less as well, Randy, is it's open topped. So of the 3, that's
Oh,
the only one that's open topped, right?
yep. Sure
Um,
enough.
but he can reach pretty far out there. Again, light autocannon, 2 shots, and HE1, and but it is 48 inches. So he can both of these vehicles can engage the paratroopers at a little bit of range, and they have the medium machine guns for when things get in close.
Wow.
Again, I'll be, if you look at the whole force when it's on the table, and we'll certainly get pictures before we start. I'll probably show them. I'll get a picture for show with the infantry and the half tracks following behind the armored car platoon, and that'll just look way too dang cool. But that was my whole feeling was just basically a recon platoon that's out on recon and runs into a pair, runs into a group of paratroopers. Interestingly enough, so folks, we built our list separately, but this is going to be a very historical matchup.
Yeah, this
Because
is like you would see this. This is exactly what would happen.
yeah, I mean, you get reports of paratroopers on the ground, Fallschirmjägers if you're the Germans, of course. And the first thing you're going to do is go find them and fix them. These poor saps would be the guys tasked with that. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I'm pretty jazzed. We're ending up playing a very, very historical themed game. So
I think
that's
it's
the
gonna be a
forces.
blast.
Oh my gosh, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And we talked about too, the two forward artillery observers. That our heavy artillery is really the only thing you have to counter my heavy armored cars.
Yeah.
And so without any major tanks. Now the next thing we wanted to look at was we wanted to roll for the scenario that we were going to play.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what we're going to do is we're going to show you John Ross's scenarios for Warzone, and we're going to pick one of those randomly,
right?
And we'll play it. So let's we'll take a look at all the ones he cooked up.
Yeah. So John Ross, I mean, he's a hero to us in many ways. Very much the gentleman, always an encouragement. I know Randy and I work to put on tournaments. John will show if he can and never has anything but good to say to us, which is amazing. Or if he's got a critique, it's a suggestion. And he's just a first class human being. And he puts a lot, I can tell you, a lot goes into putting one of these events on. And Warzone is just first class. It's absolutely amazing. So if you got a chance to go. I think how much is it, Randy? $200?
So it's I think 170 for the main tournament. And if you want to play in the recon event, that's like another 30.
Okay. And we'll have links for that in the description below. And you can also look up Warzone Atlanta as a Facebook group. So there's, we'll throw a link to that as well. So that's one of the values of these videos is they can let you see things. And then we try and act as an information center too, where you can, follow up on a lot of what you're seeing.
Yeah. So it might seem like a lot of money, but you're also getting a buffet dinner for 2 days. So, that's like probably $25 a piece. So that's like $50 there. So it's not as expensive as it seems.
Right.
And
does that include lodging?
Huh?
That doesn't include lodging, though.
No. But they've got a pretty good rate for the room. So
super. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can't go this year because I'm going to be. I'm a sponsor for Skirmish Con over in Jacksonville, so I'll be hanging out there thinking about you guys and probably showing my quar. And that's a whole other discussion, though. So I love the picture here, guys. This is what it's all about. A couple of friends sitting around playing with our toy soldiers. It's absolutely. That's the most.
This is where it all came from back when we were kids. Playing with toy soldiers.
Gosh.
Now we get to do it.
Yes, absolutely. So he'll have a discussion on terrain, and he'll be releasing this eventually. So we're gonna skip the first 3 missions because honestly, they're just very, very basic.
Yeah, they're pretty much straight out of version 2 and different names, but they're the same. So
yeah. So we're gonna start. We're gonna use a D12. Because there's no such thing as a D9. I guess we could have used a D10, right?
So we'll just ignore 1 through 3 result.
Right. So we're going to use a D12 to roll up which one of these we're doing, and then we'll all walk through together what the scenario is going to look like. So first we roll the die. Randy, can you see that okay?
You haven't got it up there yet.
I haven't put it up there yet. My apology. Let's try this again without the oops.
All right.
There we go. And let's give it a roll.
Give it a roll. 3,
again.
Of course. 2, of course.
No.
Don't roll 1. Are you kidding me?
If anybody can roll a 1 on a D12 or even a D100, that's going to be me. What's the shirt say? Bad Dice Baker. Every chance I get. So let's see what scenario 7 looks like. Yeah, 7. It's great, man. Add the stage.
Okay.
All right. So mission 7. Oh boy. Hold until relieved.
Oh my gosh.
And
Okay. So he's added a little
I
bit of flavor to every one of these missions.
love it. Yeah. Now I'll be right honest, and we can roll off for it, but I really think your paratroopers should be the guys defending.
Yeah.
That would be. I don't know though. You can make an argument for my guys defending as well with the reinforcements having to come in. Let's look at the scenario.
Yeah.
Objective. So you've captured a key battlefield objective. Dig in, wait for reinforcements, and hold out during the inevitable counterattack.
Counterattack.
Yep. And so objectives primary, hold a single central objective at the end of the game with no enemy units within 3 units, 3 inches of the center of the objective. Right off the bat, let's make sure we understand something. Only the infantry can capture the objective. But if there's an enemy AFV within 3 inches, then you don't win. So that's something to think about.
Yeah.
Secondary, modified kill points. The defender's 2 deploying units are worth 0 kill points. Infantry are worth 2. Vehicles and artillery are worth 1. That's interesting. So I'm assuming infantry would be any infantry, a squad,
Yeah.
ATR team, all that. Okay.
Yeah.
And so one of the things we're doing too is evaluating the scenario. So right off the bat, I'm thinking probably should say 2-man teams are worth 1 point, and then infantry squads and leaders are worth 2. So
Yeah. Because
we'll make some
obviously
notes on that.
headquarters are valuable units.
Yep. Yeah. The headquarters be valuable.
Um,
Officers be be valuable for sure. Okay, cool beans. Although artillery can be multi-man too, and they're only worth 1 point. So pretty interesting. But I think I know what John's thinking there is that if you kill off an infantry squad, or commander, yeah, you've done something. Terrain's gonna be random. Um Randy, I'm thinking we want to put so for us setting this up, do you want to bring you want to bring what 6 pieces of terrain, and I'll bring 6 pieces of terrain, and then we'll deploy it when we get there? That's 12.
um,
Or is that too many, you think?
well, I'm thinking, no, actually, I think 12 pieces of line of sight blocking is what Bo was suggesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So
and,
again, guys, go ahead.
so I'm thinking I'm going to be working Friday there in town, and I'll
Yep.
have to have this stuff in my truck. So, well, it's not going to be that hot, really.
I mean, I
It should
can
be
bring all
fairly
the terrain.
cold.
I can, I've got a butt ton. I can bring a bunch of terrain, and we can just pick from what I have. If that's easier for you, not a problem.
Yeah, I'll send you a text later. We'll figure it out after we do this, and
Sounds like a
we'll go
plan.
from there.
And folks, the reason we're doing this as part of the video is for folks who maybe don't get to play much, or you're still learning the game. This is some ways that things you take care of as you're setting up. So discuss terrain. We'll definitely do that. Place a single objective in the center of the table. Now, for bolt action, an objective is defined as a 25 millimeter round. So we'll throw a base or something like that in the middle of the table. Both
Yeah.
players roll a d6. The winner can choose to be the attacker or defender and chooses the table side. So again, we can always roll that off. I can see scenarios both ways,
Yeah.
where the Germans or the British could be defending.
Yeah, either the paratroopers are dropping in trying to take them out, or the paratroopers have dropped in and the Germans are trying to dig them out.
Yep. The defender must deploy 1 infantry and 1 other unit within 12 inches of the central objective. They count as hidden, +1 to cover save. They may also begin the game in ambush. Oh, heck yeah. And then you pick a table edge and nominate half your army, rounding down to come onto the table as the first wave. The rest goes into reserve. Wow. No infiltration deployment for either player, so your recce platoon is not going to get to infiltrate. And I almost took a German infiltration team. I'm glad I didn't.
So that means the sniper and the forward observers are not going to be able to deploy.
Right. they're going to have to move up on both sides to deploy.
Yeah,
That's going to be
that'll
pretty
be
interesting.
interesting.
Okay. Yeah. So both of us are pretty motorized, though.
Yeah,
As far as both our forces are very motorized. So I think we're going to be able to get guys on table pretty quickly. What we'll have to watch out for is to make sure we don't, for both of us, that we don't get transports knocked out with fully loaded.
yeah,
Um, the attacker can set up any of his infantry units. So the defender has all kinds of restrictions, which is cool. The
yeah,
attacker can then set up any of his infantry units more than 18 inches from the objective or either defending unit anywhere on the table. The rest of his army will come in onto the table starting from reserve, and outflanking is allowed. So you're going to get to pretty much, as the attacker, you're going to get to deploy, both to block and move to secure that objective. That's going to be interesting.
yeah,
But then everybody you have in reserve, your jeeps, potentially my half tracks, can come in half outflank, and so you can bring in extra guys. That might be where you bring in some of those smaller teams so they don't get hammered turn one, because turn one's going to be wow crazy.
yeah.
Okay, and he addresses here in section 6, if it's not selected as one of the 2 deployed units, defenders, observers, snipers, etc., will come onto the table either as the first wave or from reserves. Spotters will come onto the table with the artillery unit to which they are attached. Okay, that's fine. Oh boy. Okay, no preparatory bombardment, no special rules. Thank the Lord. Put all the order dice into the bag, except for the defender ambush dice. Begin the first turn. Have fun. That's first order of business of any of this, is to have
Yeah.
fun. If you're not having fun, you ain't doing it right. Game duration, 6 turns with a possibility of a 7th turn on a die roll of 4 plus. Okay. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, so
I'm really
I
looking
will
forward to it.
also message John about the primary,
Oh,
whether, because typically the objective is once it's held by uh, an infantry unit, then you have to kill off everything to reclaim it. But he's kind of worded this differently, so this objective might be different. So you basically, the way it is, you'd have to push everything away at the
yep.
toward the end of the game. You'd have to have really a good.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I don't have any questions about the objective. I do have questions about the kill points.
Yeah,
That would be one I'd want to look at and say, okay, are we tracking here? So, um, that is one of the things in bolt action is you're seeing a lot more 2-man teams,
yeah,
and if you rate all units as either the same kill point, uh, or what you're doing here, and um, I mean, again, I'm going to do it again, Randy. What am I going to quote?
yeah. Squad leader.
Squad leader. So here would be a neat little twist here. You could have infantry worth 2, and then armored fighting vehicles like the armored cars, tanks worth 2 also.
Yeah,
Uh, and optionally, you could do a crew bailout, and if the crew got away, they'd only be worth 1 kill point. That'd be kind of fun. So
yeah.
again,
So
a lot of ways you can
one.
tweak this.
Yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
what we're going to have to do for actual victory conditions is we're going to have to figure out a way to combine these two, because the way the tournament is going to run is the primaries worth, I think, 5, and I think the secondaries are worth 3. So if you get the primary in our game, then the secondary wouldn't even matter. So, but since we're only playing one game, we'll have to figure out how to make it to where, you know, maybe the
Oh,
total points versus the main objective.
probably the simplest is whoever gets the primary has a win. So if the same player gets the primary and the secondary, he's got a major win.
Yeah.
If one player gets the primary, but the other gets the secondary, then the player holding the primary gets a minor win, minor victory. Um, unless, I mean, to your point, um, I guess if you lost more points than the other guy taking the primary, it might draw it down. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll twig on that a little bit. And when we write this up, guys, and when we talk about it, we'll give you our thoughts of what we decided. So that's it, I think, for us for tonight. We've actually done pretty well. It's only been 35 minutes. Check us out. We're getting pretty efficient at this.
Yeah.
Randy, what are the thoughts about the scenario? Anything?
So if I had to look at this and say, is it good for a tournament? I'd say absolutely not. Just because the primary is, there will be no draw because either one side has it or they don't. And just the fact that, a guy with a bunch of small units could, at the last turn, they could just rush up within 3 inches and take the win away, no matter what happens in the first 5 turns.
Okay, so if neither player holds the objective, that's a draw by definition. So then you go to kill points. You've got a fair point.
Yeah.
But if neither player is holding the objective successfully, if it's challenged by both players, then I think you're going to have to go to that secondary, and you can still end up with a draw.
Yeah.
Entirely possible. So I hear you. You've played more tournaments than I have. I don't know. But yeah, I don't think the primary is a tournament killer.
Yeah.
Just
It just depends on if he uses it like the book objective, where let's say I've got my guys on it, and you have to kill all my enemy units off from within 3 inches, and then you claim it. I could see that working. But the real weakness here would be I could have just pushed you back the whole game and just inflicted massive casualties, and you could take a Jeep with a light mortar team and just run up at the last second, and all of a sudden you win the game.
You don't win. I deny you the win. Neither player holds it at that point.
Hold this.
Then we go to kill points. You have to hold the objective with no enemy units within 3 inches. So I think I hear what you're saying. So if you push me back or I push you back, and I don't garrison the objective, I have nobody within 3 inches for whatever reason, and you slide up with a Jeep on the last turn, last die roll, and capture the objective, yeah, you slide out a win. Fair point. And that's where I think that's where the player's skill is going to come down to. I think you or I would,
okay. So yeah, so okay, now I'm reading it right. So because it doesn't say the defender hold, it just says hold the objective with no. So if I had the guy within 3 inches and I've had it the whole game, you wouldn't be able to take it with the Jeep unless you killed that guy that was within 3 inches and there was no more enemy units within.
I wouldn't be able to take it, but neither would you hold it. It would be, yeah. And then it goes to kill points.
Technically, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And again, guys, I think this is great, Randy and I doing this, because this is the kind of discussion you kind of want to have when you're laying a scenario out, whether you're at the club or at home or at a tournament. Just make sure you understand what the objectives are, what the setup of, what the setup parameters are. And I just got to tell you, once you start playing, keep your mind and keep your eyes on the objective. It's not always about how many enemy troops you kill. It's can you capture and hold that objective. So just something to keep in mind, even a tournament. Yeah.
So I've read through all these scenarios with John, and there are some scenarios in the book and from version 2 where kill points didn't matter at all. It was
Right.
always the objective or getting in a certain sector. So sacrificing units, it was a thing. You just didn't care as long as you got the objective. But he's kind of built in these scenarios uh, where kill points do matter.
Yes.
So as far as a secondary objective, and they're worth points. So total points for the tournament. You don't want to just bleed your army out trying to get the main objective and then lose the secondary objective. So you got to be
That's
mindful
right.
of how you use your troops.
Right. And you said that you get 5 points for getting the primary,
Yep.
and three scenario points for getting the secondary.
Yeah. So it's tournament
Cool.
points.
I
Yeah.
like that. I like that a lot.
So
That's
so the
really
way it
cool.
works
And
is
go ahead.
you
Yep.
can lose one game,
Yeah.
and if you clear out secondaries all the way through your tournament, that's another 15 points, and you can still win the tournament quite easily. If the
Yeah.
other player that, say somebody came in 5-0, but they didn't get any secondary objectives, you could absolutely take the win with a 4-1 record.
I could see that. Yeah. That's pretty cool. It's going to be
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it falls out. I know when I write scenarios, I like to write scenarios where, yeah, you've got an objective, but you can't pay too many troops for it. So that's really good.
Yeah. Scroll
Wow,
down to
great.
the last couple slides. So he also has tertiary objectives too.
Okay.
And you're going to like this. Okay, well, okay, I keep going. So there's tertiary.
Okay.
So what these are is
Oh, wow.
you're going to roll randomly each game you play, and then that's your tertiary objective, and so you're going to get a point for that. But these points only
Like
count
it.
for a secondary prize, kind of like our bingo.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so so he's going to award a prize for that at the end of the tournament.
I like it.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. And then if you look at the scorecard, which I think is the next slide.
Okay.
So here it shows you. You look down at the bottom. Win is 5 points.
Sorry.
Draw is 1 point. 0 for a loss. Secondary objectives are 3 points. Now all those count towards tournament points, and then the tertiary is just for the bingo prize, basically.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah, should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And honestly, we're probably going to benchmark some of this for our tournament that we do in March.
Yeah.
So I like it. Again, we all learn from one another, and that's really important. And we're always it's what makes the community a community. As John Russell likes to say, you come for the games and you stay for the community. So there you go.
Yeah.
Wow. So I hope our listeners have taken some things away from us. I hope they've stuck with us this long. I think you've gotten to see a couple of veteran players kind of poking each other's army list as well as poking a scenario, and that's as much a part of the hobby as anything. And you saw where Randy's like, "Hey, you can borrow some of my guys, I can borrow some of yours." That sharing is a huge part of what makes the hobby work. So I think we're gonna call this one a wrap. This was real good. What else you got, Randy?
Yeah.
Before we call it?
So I don't know if we mentioned it or not, but we will be videotaping this game, and then of course we'll be posting it afterwards. So everybody be on the lookout for that. Should be a lot of fun to watch.
Probably gonna come through Gator Games because I've got a little bit better video setup. So
Yeah.
video platform. So be watching. We'll get that out probably Monday. There you go.
Yeah.
So all right. Okay. Just a reminder, if you haven't yet, click like, click subscribe, click share it with your friends and your clubs. If you want to support the channel, best way to do that is to look in the links below and either get something from Gator Games and Books, or um, go ahead and buy us a coffee at Ko-Fi. Oh yeah, one more thing here. We are having a Christmas sale celebrating Battle
Oh
of the
yeah.
Bulge. 20% off all World War II themed items. Simply use code BULGE80 and at checkout to claim this discount. Everything related to World War II, buildings, miniatures, rules. Our best sale of the year.
Nice.
So there we go. There you go. And with that, Merry Christmas, and we will catch y'all next week.
All right.